Well, guys, there is so much to go over, so many new updates regarding this new Titanic submersible thing. I don't even know where to begin, but I'm going to really do my best here. So, the first update we have, and this literally came out right after I released the video that I released like earlier this morning. So, they found debris, okay? We got two things to happen. The oxygen completely ran out. We know for a fact, without a doubt, that everybody in the submersible is dead, unfortunately. The 19-year-old kid and his father, the CEO, the Canadian billionaire, the other guy, they've perished. They're gone. But here's the interesting part. The good thing that we found out now, if there's any good out of this, obviously they died, so that's not good. But what we now know is that they did not suffer. The reason why we know that is because they found debris. When they found the debris, they basically determined that the way that the submarine got destroyed was because it imploded from the inside. For those who don't know what that means, basically it caved in, it exploded because of the pressure. Now, what a lot of the experts think is that they already went down and saw the Titanic. On the way up, somehow the thing imploded, and that is what led to all of them dying. So we know that none of them suffered. They weren't sitting down in the dark and 12,000 feet below the sea and crying and pooping everywhere and starving to death. They died in less than a second, literally in 1 millisecond is what experts are saying. So we have that part so far. Now, here's where it starts to get weird. Now other things are coming out that's starting to make me really question the news and the government. And this is why I said I really think that after COVID, there is a large faction of Americans who do not trust the government anymore, and I'm one of them. Anytime they tell us things, I get very skeptical. One of the things that already made me very skeptical was they told us on one hand that, there's a possibility they're going to find them. We're holding out hope. But then you got all these experts coming on the news saying there is literally a 1% chance that they'll be found and a 99% chance that they won't be found. Then you had experts coming on the news saying, well, even if we find them, it's going to take us 8 hours to even get the submarine out of the water. And we're not even 100% sure if we could do that because we've never went through the training to even go through how to get somebody out of that deep of water. We don't even know. So it was just crazy. I feel like there was a lot of contradictions here. But now here's the bombshell, guys, because guess what? Came out an hour ago in the Wall Street Journal. According to the Wall Street Journal, a top secret U.S. Navy acoustic detection system first picked up on the Titan submersible implosion just hours after the sub began its mission on Sunday. So just a few hours after it went missing, a top secret U.S. Navy acoustic detection system picked up on the implosion. They already knew that it happened. This is according to the Wall Street Journal, who talked to some officials. Almost immediately, and this is according to the Wall Street Journal article, we could even scroll down. Oh, it has the paywall, whatever. I got it right here on my iPad. Almost immediately after the sub lost communication with its mothership, the Navy began listening in. Shortly thereafter, the U.S. System detected what it suspected was the sound of an implosion near the debris site, which was discovered on Thursday. So, just so you guys understand, Sunday the thing disappears. The mainstream media news got a bunch of views, got all these eyeballs, ran with this story, did the countdown. Oh, 72 hours left. Oh, 50 hours left. 40 hours left until they're dead. 30 hours left. Turns out the United States Navy already knew what happened. This is why I don't trust the news, because you can't tell me this is a coincidence. So they wait until the 4 days go by, and this is how I really feel. I think something's up here. So you mean to tell me that the Navy already knew, the United States Navy already knew the first day that it happened, but the news media didn't know? None of them told the news media? I don't believe that. I really don't. Because guess what? Isn't it a coincidence, guys, that the exact same day, Thursday, that we find out that the United States Coast Guard basically comes out and says, well, basically, they're all dead. There's no more oxygen. Now, all of a sudden, the media, the newspapers want to come out and leak the story and say, oh, the Navy knew all along. Well, why didn't you tell us that on Sunday? Why didn't you tell us that on Monday? Had we knew that the Navy known this, first of all, it just doesn't make any sense. You see what I'm saying? Because if the Navy heard it why weren't they able to find it quicker or close in and figure out a location? Because remember, the original reports that we got before we found out that the United States Navy already heard the implosion, we heard all these things of, oh, well, the search area is the size of the state of Connecticut. We're looking. We don't know where they're going to be found. And then we got to ask the question of, well, where did the banging noises come from? Because remember, the media came out with this weird story like 40 hours before they were going to run out of oxygen. So literally like Tuesday, Wednesday, they were saying that, oh, we heard banging noises. Okay, well, we now know that the thing imploded. Basically, they died just a few hours into the trip. So how could you have heard banging noises? So I don't believe the banging noise. I'm going to tell you guys straight up front. I do not believe that they heard banging noises. And if they did, then I don't know where they could have come from, because the people in the submarine were already dead by Sunday is basically what we understand here. So the timeline is the people were dead by Sunday. The United States Navy already knew about it. The news media milked the story anyway, even though clearly somebody knew that they heard it anyway. And now all of a sudden we're finally getting the truth. After the 4 days went by where the media milked the story and kept us all anxious, thinking that maybe they survived and maybe there's hope and hope for a miracle. They've been dead for 4 days. They was dead the first day that we found out. This is the stuff that upsets me. And this is why independent media is so important, because you can't trust these people. Like this is outrageous. So just to clear things up, I really think that the banging noises were fake. I don't know who made it up. I don't know why they would make it up. I think that story is complete BS. I think that's a lie. I don't know if they can produce audio to prove it. If I see actual real audio from them, from the rescue team, that proves that they heard banging noises, then I will be satisfied. But until then, I think that's a made up story, because we now know that they were dead on Sunday. So I don't believe the banging noises. Here goes another part, guys, that's really, really sad. Like I said, there's so much that goes into this situation. So we now have a new story. One of the 19-year-olds, matter of fact, I'm sorry, let me go ahead real quick and pull up the 5 passengers so you guys can see. We got to put the faces. We got to put the faces to the story I'm about to say right here. Yeah, right here. So these are the 5 people right here. Let me see if I can enlarge the picture. There we go. Okay, so these are the 5 people. So this guy right here, this is the son. So this guy is 19 years old. He's a teenager. Oh, God, what just happened? Okay, well, you guys get the point. I don't know what just happened, but you guys get the point. So the 19-year-old, he was terrified, and he told his dad, "Dad, I do not want to go on this trip." His own father basically made him go on the trip. I know they're trying to be nice. They're trying to make it nice. Let me tell you how they're writing it. This is the way that they're writing the story. I'll go ahead and scroll down, and we could just go ahead and read the article. In the days before the Titan vessel went into the ocean off the coast of Newfoundland, Canada, the 19-year-old university student accompanying his father on the expedition expressed hesitation about going. This is according to his aunt. His aunt said in an interview today that the son didn't even want to go. Ahmed Dawood, the older sister of Pakistani businessman, I know I'm saying the name wrong, I'm sorry, Shahzada Dawood, told NBC News that her nephew, Sulman, which is the 19-year-old, informed a relative that he wasn't very up for it and felt terrified about the trip to explore the wreckage of the Titanic. And what they said was he eventually ended up agreeing to it for his dad on Father's Day. I'm going to give you guys a translation because the media is playing games here. They're not telling the truth. They're making you think that, the father really wanted him to go. The son didn't want to go. The father basically said, please, son, please come. It's a Father's Day thing. That's not what happened. Let's keep it real. The father made him. And that's an absolute shame. But it's true. It's freaking true. The father made him. Let's just cut the crap. The kid didn't want to go. He told his father he's scared. He's terrified. I do not want to go. The father said, please, son, please, you got to come. You got to come. You got to come. I insist. You got to come. Finally, the kid comes and he dies. And you know what the craziest thing about this entire situation is? Out of all the grown adults who went on that freaking submersible in 12,000 feet into the ocean, the person who had the most common sense out of all of them was the teenager. The teenager had the most sense. Everybody else is like, oh, we're rich. We have a lot of money. We're paying $250,000. Nothing can happen to us, even though we're going 11,000 feet deeper than even military vehicles are able to go. We're going 8,000 feet deeper than even whales and sharks go. We're going 9,000 feet deeper than even the jellyfish go. It's crazy. The adults didn't see anything wrong with it. The CEO had lawsuits against him. He had all these different situations where an employee got fired, basically telling him, dude, what you're doing is stupid, reckless, and dangerous. He said, oh, yeah? You think, and remember, I'm talking about Stockton Rush, the CEO of Ocean Gate. He said, oh, yeah? You think that what I'm doing is stupid, dumb, and dangerous? Well, guess what, buddy? You're fired. That's literally what happened. So the CEO was stupid. Rest in peace to that man, but he was stupid and reckless. All the rich people who went were just dumb. Let's just tell it like it is. And out of all of them, the 19-year-old is the one who said, Dad, this is not a good idea. The dad's like, oh, no, son, we'll be fine. We're paying $250,000. We're rich. We got billionaires on here. Nothing can happen to us. We rule the world. We can do whatever we want. Yeah, okay. You found out real quick. That's what happens when you play with the ocean. Do not play with the ocean. And I'm not trying to be cruel here. I want to make it very clear, guys. I'm just being honest. The mainstream media you're not going to get this brutal honesty from the mainstream media. They're going to turn it to a sob story. They're going to say, oh, my God, what was them? I'm so sorry. Which, by the way, the mainstream media still refuses to cover the story about the migrants, the 600 migrants who basically died just recently. Oops, sorry. Sorry, I just hit my mic. Okay, I think we're good. Who basically just tipped over and all died. The mainstream media won't even cover that story. But they're trying to, emotionally connect with you with this story. And I do feel bad with them. I want to make it clear. I do feel bad. It's a very sad situation. But at the same time, we have to be brutally honest about this so this doesn't happen again, because I can tell you right now, rich people are doing things right now with these Blue Origin space rocket rich people, $500,000 space trips that's going to end up being just like this. I'm telling you right now. So where do we go from here? Well, I think the way that you learn from this is, one, stop letting rich people break the rules and get away with everything just because they had money. You and I would never be allowed to do something like this. But because they're all rich and they're able to charge $250,000 per ticket, somehow they were able to get over on I don't know. I don't know how this happened. I don't know how this was allowed, but it just really upsets me. And if you're wondering why I'm being so hard on them, I'll be honest, I'm a little upset. Actually, I am upset that the 19-year-old ended up dying because he didn't even want to go. He's like, Dad, I don't want to go. They made him go. That is crazy to me. So there you go. You got that. You got the fact that the U.S. Navy heard about this literally the same day that it happened, and somehow they weren't able to locate it. I don't know. This whole story makes no sense. But again, this is why you should always be hesitant when you hear things from the mainstream media. You could cover the story, but one thing I appreciate is I actually saw people on Twitter and in some of the YouTube comments on some of these news networks videos that were saying, yeah, they were already dead. And a lot of people are like, oh, don't say that. Don't be harsh. No, you should be honest. And it's true. It's true. Because now what the media does is they spin the story and they get you all emotionally invested and, oh, this is going to happen. That's going to happen. Hopefully it's a miracle. Turns out they were already dead. It's crazy. This whole story is absolutely insane. And there really should be some scrutiny. There should be some outrage. I don't know if there are going to be any lawsuits. I definitely think that there should be, because clearly there was some negligence involved in this. And it's just a very sad situation. Honestly, rest in peace to all 5 of them. Definitely rest in peace to the 19-year-old who didn't even want to go. And just let this be a lesson, guys. If your intuition, clearly with the 19-year-old, his intuition told him not to go. Deep down, his intuition was screaming at him, do not go, do not go. He didn't listen. Let this be a lesson. Whenever your intuition tells you something, always make sure you listen to it. And yeah, crazy story. Okay. I think I covered everything. I think I talked more than long enough. Thank you guys so much for watching this video, and I will see you guys in the next one.